Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Director. We're seeing a rise of a new fintech product that provides consumers with cash advances, and these loans are marketed as having no mandatory fees and charging no interest, and also but soliciting tips and donations, which is an interesting model. And while these fees are supposedly voluntary, in fact, you will not get the loan unless you ante up. And these are typically short-term loans and when you do the math in terms of their voluntary tips or donations, the percentage interest rate is astounding, like 511%. Do you believe that these tips and donations should be treated as interest charges, which would trigger consumer protections, particularly military, who have been protected by the 36% limit?
Well, we recently, Senator Reid, charged a company with violating the law on specifically those grounds. In fact, when the consumer sought to get the loan, it was impossible to not leave a tip. It was just a fake tip. So I think we're looking for all the ways in which companies are trying to sidestep these long-standing protections that have been around for 50 years. Some of these companies brand themselves with different types of terms. We're looking at the facts, and if they are pushing people into a finance charge, federal law is pretty clear that they need to disclose it clearly with an interest rate so that people can compare. And as Senator Scott was mentioning, we need to be able to look and compare so the best player wins.
Thank you. I was very pleased to see the CFPB issue an interpretive rule last month clarifying that many of the rules for credit cards also apply to buy now, pay later loans. And now that the CFPB has clarified which rules to apply, the CFPB should bring the biggest BNPL lenders under federal supervision in order to spot violations. That's my view. Do you have an update on the progress towards examining these buy now, pay later firms as on a compulsory basis?
Yeah, we do have certain authorities to supervise those types of lenders. Some of them, we can work with states who license them. In other cases, we can issue them a notice for which they can reply, and we can determine whether supervision is warranted. But I want to be clear, I take your point very seriously that the CFPB cannot be behind the 8 ball when it comes to buy now, pay later. We have tried to stay ahead of it. It is fast growing, and it's an important part of our consumer credit market, and we need to make sure it's growing on the merits, not based on regulatory loopholes.
In that sense, do you need any additional authorities to keep ahead of it?
Well, certainly, if you would like to make sure that they are subject to federal supervision, we can work with you. We do have some authorities, but if you'd like to see more dedicated to that, we are happy to work with you on it.
And with respect to another aspect of the BNPL market, unlike credit card companies, they do not uniformly report consumer repayments to the major credit reporting bureaus. And this could raise a host of problems. Consumers may not get the benefits of responsibly using credit in terms of improved credit scores, and the industry cannot see a consumer's full debt load. So what are your tools to incentivize the credit reporting bureaus to include BNPL?
Yeah, one of the things that's worth noting is the auto lenders and mortgage lenders, they're very concerned that buy now, pay later is not on the credit report. Because they're saying to me, how are we supposed to know if the person is able to afford this if we don't know what all these buy now, pay later loans are? And for buy now, pay later companies themselves, we've asked them, how do you know what other loans people have? So I think we'd want to talk to all of you to figure out. Right now, it's not a requirement of federal law to report, but it is something we have some worries about.
Credit card use is going up dramatically, and people are reaching their limits quickly, and particularly Gen Z rather. Given the situation of credit cards, do you believe there are similar dynamics in the market for buy now, pay later loans, i.e. that they will be overused by the customer or consumer.
I think just like credit cards, there are some serious concerns about over-indebtedness and people getting in over their head. It is something that we all need to pay close attention to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director.